Karolina Protsenko is presented in this narrative as a teenage violinist whose performances have reached audiences across the world through social media and live appearances. Her story is often described as a blend of natural talent, early musical exposure, and rapid online fame. Viewers are drawn not only to her technical ability on the violin, but also to the emotional style she brings to modern song interpretations. Over time, her journey is framed as one that moves from a musically rich childhood into global recognition, fueled by street performances, online videos, and collaborations with other young performers. In many retellings, she becomes an example of how digital platforms can transform a young musician's life, allowing her to reach millions far beyond traditional concert halls. The following sections explore this story in a structured way, focusing on her background, development, public rise, and artistic identity, as it is commonly described in fan-made biographies and online narratives. Early life and musical family roots. Karolina Protsenko is described as being born in Kyiv, Ukraine, into a family where music played an important role in daily life. Her parents are often portrayed as musically inclined, with her father and mother both having interests in instruments and performance, creating an environment where sound and rhythm were naturally present. From a young age, she is said to have been surrounded by guitar melodies, piano practice, and general encouragement toward artistic expression. In these accounts, her early curiosity for the violin appears almost inevitable, as she grew up in a household where creativity was valued and supported. She is also described as having two younger brothers, whom she occasionally guides in learning basic piano skills, suggesting that music functions as a shared family activity rather than an individual pursuit. This early environment is often emphasized as the foundation of her later success, framing her not just as a solo talent but as someone shaped by a supportive and expressive family culture that nurtured her artistic instincts from childhood onward. Relocation and educational transition in the United States. A major turning point in Karolina Protsenko's story is the family's relocation to the United States around her early childhood years. In many versions of her biography, this move is described as both challenging and transformative, as it introduced her to new cultural environments and educational opportunities. Settling in California, particularly areas like Simi Valley, is often highlighted as a key factor in her exposure to broader musical training and performance platforms. She is said to have attended school while balancing her growing interest in violin practice, adapting to a new language and lifestyle while continuing her artistic development. The transition is framed as a period of adjustment, where music became both a comfort and a form of communication. In this narrative, the move does not interrupt her musical journey but instead expands it, offering her access to teachers, workshops, and public performance spaces that may not have been as readily available in her early years. This phase is often portrayed as the beginning of her structured musical education, formal training and development of musical skill. As her story progresses, Karolina Protsenko is often described as receiving formal violin instruction after her relocation to the United States. While early descriptions sometimes emphasize natural talent, later accounts highlight the importance of structured lessons under professional guidance. A teacher figure is frequently mentioned in fan narratives, representing the classical foundation she builds over time. Through disciplined practice, she is said to develop strong technical skills, including bow control, tone production, and the ability to interpret both classical repertoire and modern arrangements. She is also portrayed as participating in workshops and masterclasses, where exposure to different musical perspectives helps broaden her artistic range. This stage of development is important in shaping her identity as more than just a street performer, positioning her as a trained musician capable of adapting across genres. The combination of formal instruction and personal creativity becomes a defining feature of her style, allowing her to transition from learning foundational techniques to experimenting with expressive and contemporary interpretations of well-known songs. Street performances and the beginning of public recognition. One of the most frequently repeated elements of Karolina Protsenko's narrative is her early street performances, particularly in public spaces like busy promenades and tourist areas. These performances are often described as the moment when her talent first began attracting widespread attention. Standing with a violin in open-air environments, she is said to have performed popular melodies and emotional covers that drew crowds of listeners. Passers-by reportedly stopped to watch, film, and share her performances online, which contributed significantly to her growing visibility. In these accounts, street performance is not just a starting point but a defining chapter of her identity, symbolizing authenticity, courage, and direct connection with audiences. The informal setting contrasts with traditional concert halls, yet it becomes the stage where her reputation begins to spread. Over time, videos of these performances circulate widely on social media platforms, helping her transition from local performer to international online personality, recognized for both skill and stage presence. Digital fame and expansion on online platforms, television appearances, and mainstream recognition. In addition to her online success, Karolina Protsenko is often portrayed as appearing on television programs that showcase young talent. One frequently mentioned moment is an invitation to a popular talk show, where she performs live and shares her story with a studio audience. These appearances are described as significant milestones, marking her transition from internet fame to mainstream recognition. During such shows, she is often depicted performing emotional violin renditions of popular songs, receiving positive reactions from audiences and hosts alike. In some versions of the narrative, she also discusses personal goals, such as saving for meaningful experiences or achieving childhood dreams. These televised moments contribute to her public image as a humble and dedicated young artist. They also reinforce the idea that her talent is not limited to online platforms, but is strong enough to be appreciated in traditional media environments. This stage of her journey helps solidify her reputation as a widely recognized young musician. Collaborations with young artists and stage partnerships. Another important aspect of Karolina Protsenko's story involves collaborations with other young performers. One frequently mentioned partnership is with a vocal artist during a televised performance, where violin and singing are combined in a coordinated stage act. These collaborations are often described as emotionally powerful, blending instrumental and vocal expression into a unified performance. In such narratives, her violin playing complements the singer's voice, creating a layered musical experience that resonates strongly with audiences. These joint performances also highlight her adaptability and willingness to share the stage rather than dominate it. Working with other artists is presented as a key part of her artistic growth, allowing her to explore new musical arrangements and performance styles. Through these collaborations, she is portrayed as building relationships within the music industry, while continuing to develop her individual identity as a violinist capable of both solo and ensemble performance. Influences, inspirations, and artistic direction. Karolina Protsenko's artistic identity is often described as being shaped by a wide range of musical influences, including classical violin traditions and modern pop music. She is portrayed as drawing inspiration from musicians who combine classical instruments with contemporary performance styles. This blend of influences allows her to experiment with different genres while maintaining a consistent violin-centered identity. In many accounts, she is also depicted as being inspired by live performers who incorporate stage movement and visual expression into their music. Her openness to different styles is presented as one of her defining strengths, enabling her to connect with diverse audiences. She is also described as being interested in cross-cultural communication through music, suggesting that her performances are intended to reach listeners beyond language barriers. This artistic direction positions her not only as an entertainer, but also as a communicator who uses music as a universal language capable of connecting people across different backgrounds and regions. Instrument identity and the Stradivarius connection. A notable part of her narrative involves discussions about the violin she plays, often linked in storytelling to high-quality classical instruments such as Stradivarius models. These references are used to emphasize the richness and clarity of her sound, as well as the seriousness of her musical image. The Stradivarius violin is widely regarded in classical music history for its craftsmanship and tonal quality, and associating her with such an instrument elevates her artistic portrayal. In these descriptions, the instrument becomes more than a tool. It is a symbol of tradition, excellence, and continuity with classical music heritage. Her use of such a violin is often framed as bridging the gap between historical craftsmanship and modern performance style. This connection reinforces the idea that her music is rooted in classical discipline while still being accessible to contemporary audiences who discover her through digital platforms and viral videos. The power of viral music culture and audience connection. In the broader context of Karolina Protsenko's narrative, one of the most defining elements is the role of viral music culture in shaping her reach and influence. Unlike traditional musicians who rely primarily on concerts, record labels, or classical institutions, her story is tied closely to digital sharing, algorithm-driven exposure, and audience participation online. Videos of her performances are described as spreading rapidly across platforms, where viewers not only consume the content but actively share, comment, and remix it, amplifying her visibility far beyond her immediate performances. This cycle of attention helps transform simple street recordings or studio covers into global moments of recognition. In these accounts, her audience becomes part of her artistic journey, as viewers from different countries interpret her music through their own emotional and cultural perspectives. The connection between performer and audience is therefore immediate and interactive, shaped by likes, shares, and comments rather than formal applause alone. This dynamic reflects how modern musicians can build international careers through digital engagement, where emotional resonance and online virality work together to sustain long-term popularity and artistic relevance. Conclusion and continuing artistic journey. Karolina Protsenko's story, as it is commonly told in online biographies and fan narratives, reflects a journey from early childhood musical exposure to global recognition through both street performance and digital media. Her development is portrayed as a combination of talent, training, opportunity, and public engagement, allowing her to build a large and diverse audience. Whether performing on streets, television stages, or online platforms, she is consistently described as bringing emotional depth and technical skill to her music. Her collaborations, influences, and instrumental identity all contribute to a narrative of ongoing artistic growth. While different versions of her story may vary in detail, the central theme remains the same: a young violinist using her instrument to connect with audiences worldwide. As her career continues in this narrative framework, she represents the evolving nature of modern musicianship, where traditional training and digital exposure come together to shape new forms of artistic success.